Are you doing the best you can? And if you feel that you are you achieving and accomplishing and maximizing potential in what it is that you are doing? If I say to you tomorrow, Salat al-Fajr, 7 o'clock, from tomorrow, we're all going to attend the Masjid 5 times a day, starting from 7 o'clock tomorrow. With the previous questions that we've had, you might want to be doing that anyway. But the question here is that when you do come at 7 o'clock, what's the best possible way for you to make sure that you've got Khushoo, that you're concentrating, that you've got humility, that you've got focus? How can you then use that focus and that humility and that concentration to increase and do more good deeds and get closer to Allah subhanahu? Now, it's important for us to understand, especially in the world that we live in today, that perhaps we can look at the world and analyze the world. And I don't know if I'm oversimplifying it, but I would say that the world today has 3 main groups, irrespective of what religion you are. I would say that the first group are those people who are trying to conquer the world. And even if it includes oppression and injustices and spreading of fire, this is what they want to do. These people are not interested in play. They're not interested in entertainment. They're not interested. They are just interested in conquering and domination. First group. Second group are those people who are being fed the dunya. And I will say this is the masses. And the reason why I'm mentioning this today, right now, is because of what we can see in the world today, happening on this day today, right now. They're being fed the dunya. And what are they doing when it comes to feeding the dunya to them? They are taking it in with play and dance and their desires. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions this in more than one place. فَذَرْهُمْ فِي خَوْضِهِمْ يَلْعَبُونَ. Leave them in their khawd, in their negligence, whilst they are playing. The second group of people, you will find them laughing and joking and dancing and singing. And it's all about desires. They are just taking, absorbing in the dunya. The third group, though, are neither of the above. They are not interested in conquering the life of this dunya because they know that it is temporary. Likewise, they are not going to consume the life of this dunya in a way which is not beloved to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This, for me, is key in answering this question in Khushoo and concentration. Which is now, if I was to say to you, from tomorrow, 5 salawat in the masjid, start off with fajr. If a person can understand that, look, you've got dunya and you've got akhirah. In the dunya, you've got people fighting over it and you've got people dancing over it. Are you one of those guys? I don't think anyone in this room would say that I'm one of those guys. So then what does that leave? It leaves another group of people who are in this dunya in an honorable manner. In a manner which they will only engage in a manner that will please their Lord. And even in that act of pleasure, for their Lord, that act of closeness to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, there is then now a level of focus because their concern is not conquering and eating up the desires. Their concern is to attain Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's pleasure and His Jannah. Hence Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, قَدْ أَفْلَحَ الْمُؤْمِنُونَ. The believers have already been successful. And from that, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says, الَّذِينَ هُمْ فِي صَلَاتِهِمْ خَاشِعُونَ. Those who have that khushoo and that concentration and that focus in the salah. How did they get that? If you look at the remaining of the ayat, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives more characteristics. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says that they are the inheritors of a firdaus. Question number 4, how can you attain concentration and humility and khushoo to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? It requires programming. And it requires you understanding that there is an objective and reminding yourself of that objective on a constant and a consistent level and basis.